Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Strike, Defender of the Fatherland, off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Arnhem checkpoint between the South Guard here, Fortune, fighting for the Soviet Union, Socialism, taking on the role here of the 10th Tank Corps versus the North. We got Dezman fighting for the Oberkommando West, Germany, Deutschland, fighting on here for the Großdeutschland Panzer Division, with Spec Ops, Scavenge, and Fortifications with Infantry King Tiger Bulletins versus Shock Motor, Lend-Lease, and Shock Army with Penal Troopers, Satchel Charge Bulletins there for Fortune. Cool banks out here for Dezman. He's aggressively rushing for the center of the Sturmpanier. He's charging ahead there, ready to throw off Fortune's early game was gone here for the Special Rifle Command Inter Penal Trooper start there. So very aggressive here from Dezman, more conservative there from Fortune. Sturmpanier is continuing their reckless ride for the fatherland as they move up here to wire off a bit of cover around the point here. So he's pretty much over here, just getting right up into Fortune's nose and daring him to attack and just putting pressure on him mentally, because I mean he's going to be seeing here on the mini map right next to him. There's basically, you know, the enemy's already there and causing a bit of fuss. You can sort of note it right there. So the edges, it's sort of blinking, that's telling him that's been captured, and then soon it will be changing colour. Well, telling shifting colour, but still you can see something's going on there. So that's a little fun note. Then he's moving up with penal troops on the way there for Fortune. Moving over here, further Bart wiring there from Dezman to further secure and hold ground for the fatherland. Cool banks on the fuel point here, Fortune setting out. Back here we got more full scundies for Dezman. The engineers creeping about here. Fortune setting up for a bit of a sneakier flank here, going to try and catch Dezman off guard, maybe do a bit of scouting here and just appear from an unexpected angle. In this case, right here at the corner, and Sturmpanier range to the church, avoiding getting shot at. But there we go, Cool Bang Run. He's got to catch the gears out here. So he tried to wire off the entrance to the house. That did not quite work out for Fortune. Did not quite work out. Also, a note to all my Patreon subscribers, supporters, there's a new book review up for those who do pledge on Patreon, so just a heads up. Back to the fighting there. Scout car flying out for Fortune, sitting up for some motorised action here versus the fascists. Focusing down the eastern side here, nothing further going on in Dezman's base. So far, Fortune is though focusing on the resource there. Dezman is not ignoring his either. So while Dezman rushed for the centre, as you might be noticing, he's not putting an exceedingly large amount of focus on it. He's not committing needless manpower to engage. In fact, he's even shifting away Sturmpaniers as soon as there's better use for infantry with the rifles than assault rifles. So keep Fortune tied up at the edges there. So Dezman so far I think is fighting very smartly. He's smarting very fightly. Versus the Hun. Wait, what? No. So yeah, nice work there. Mine's going up here to help defend the calf point. Fortune seeing the scout can, of course, also anticipates that Dezman was trying to push forward. Dezman, the Großdeutschland, though, has secured most of the map here for the fatherland. Mine's going down here on the road. Very good spot. There you go. Scout crush in the full screen of this. A 50 caliber there, raking down poor Ludwig in cold blood. 30 caliber gets Jürgen. He's standing about here. Full screen of this advancing. Dezman here's going to need to take up fast. We need to bring him up a Kednev to counter that scout car. Otherwise, Dezman's going to find himself in some deep trouble very soon. The cool bargain certainly is not going to help. There's that 50 caliber mounted there on the M3A1. More penal troops there around for Fortune. Sneaking up here again, further trying to get behind Dezman here at the church. Maybe cut off his retreat path and just pressure him there to sort of give up control of the centre. But also pressuring up here to further just incentivize, relinquishing control of the town square. Dezman now with a Belgroup or Schwer Wehrmacht Schlepper on the way. Could be Belgroup headquarters, could be Mechanized Regiment on a map like this though. I mean, the looks is even better than normal because there's just so much territory, there's so much room to maneuver and force units to retreat from. So looks is really powerful. There we go. You can see Fortune continues to try and hook around Dezman again. He's not, pouring everything into the centre specifically. He's actively looking to outmaneuver him, using some units to tie down his force there, what few he has there in the town square, but at the same time there are forces doing the very important job of then getting around them and cutting off the resources. That's really clever there by Fortune. Very well done. Scout car is basically acting here in this case as a support platform. He's not using it to transport infantry, he's just using it for its 50 cal machine gun, which is actually quite potent. Truck moving down there, considering it's moving very close to the front line. Could be Dezman here setting up for the Belgroup headquarters. In this case he's slightly awkwardly acting, making harder for his full scundies to retreat though. But there you go, setting in there with the scout car, quickly hitting the calf point there. Fortune's assault continues, punishing Dezman there for actually getting a bit too caught up in the centre instead of trying to perhaps continue his own offensive. Though, of course, Ooh, lost a squad. Well, that's a big loss there for Fortune. Or Dezman. A full wipe there for the German army. Quickly replacing them. But he's definitely going to go, maybe at this point, for a mechanised regiment to just try and push out the Luxi to try and turn things around against Fortune. There goes Satch to charge off already. Sturmpani needs to get out of there before the house gets blown to bits. And there goes. Explosion shatters the entire thing. So what happens up here? Nothing further there for Dezman and the Groß Deutschland. He's likely going to lose the Kupferwagen as well here. Getting rough for Dezman already. Fortune was very rapidly able to catch him off guard and punish him for it. And is now getting control of the centre and cut off Dezman from his resources. So overall, very solid play there from Fortune. Mechanized Regiment there, so he's going to go for the Lux. It's going to be a swift counter to the scout car, but also just give him more room to control the battlefield on. And oh dear. Oh no, he's going to lose the Sturmpani as well. That's going to be absolutely catastrophic for Dezman here in the early game. Catastrophic. Lost the Volksgrenadier squad and a Sturmpani squad. Plus his fuel was cut off. That is a crashing blow there to Dezman and the Groß Deutschland Panzer Division. A very strong start there from Fortune. A very strong start. Making good use of mobility and flanking to just completely wipe out his opponent's presence on the map and just deliver several stinging blows. Mine goes off. They didn't get the scout car though and set some penal troopers paid for it with their lives. More Sturmpioniere, as obviously needs those out to repair his stuff, I imagine. And he's soon closing in on the Lux, but he's going to be a bit delayed there, to put it mildly. Meanwhile, Fortune is using this success to tag up. There's going to be some time for Neck to get out some light vehicles of his own. Scout car's going to need some repairs, and penal troops setting out there. Occupying houses, and we got Lend-Lease there for Fortune, further deciding he wants to push the successes here with really big machine guns and rather efficient tanks. Mine goes on the south here, holding more penal troops. Good mining there from Dezman, good mining. Fixing up the M3A1, penal troops sitting out there for Dezman, grabbing the point here as well. Dezman advances his front line for the fatherland as aggressively as possible. We shall defend this sacred territory for the Vaterland. My God, these new recruits are terrible. Securing up there. Minesweepers up. Dezman in this case is assuming Fortune has been laying down a lot of minesweepers. While he's been laying down some, he's not actually been laying down a lot, I think. But in this case, Dezman is doing the sensible thing, which is he's not taking any bloody chances. So thumbs up there. But Scout Car's back in action this time with a Minesweeper. It is the Rapid Engineering Minesweeper Task Force Go. Say that 10 times quickly. Shut up, Pushkin. There you go, overdrive. You can see that I think Fortune's just going to go out and harass the Bounty Alliance. Maybe look out for mines as well. Disrupting anything Dezman does. Very nice little group there from Fortune. Very nasty group. Emergency Engineer Minesweeper Clearing Team. Go! Can't we just, not say this every time? Niet. Trying to make good use of swift mobility to catch the Germans off guard. Looks following up there for Dezman though. Finally, a leichte Aufklärungspanzer here for the Groß Deutschland Panzer Division. So named because it recruited from across all of Germany, which was a rather rare thing in Germany, since most divisions recruited from a specific part of Germany, which led to high unit cohesion. And actually, unit cohesion is incredibly important when it comes to a division's fighting abilities. And high cohesion just means they will keep fighting harder and they'll be less likely to retreat. Penals were there suppressed, taking losses, negative cover, MG34, halt it for the fatherland. Up here, troops moving about, securing points here, scout car now veteran to 2. The M3A1 is a really potent light vehicle as you can see here, and well handled it can be quite a problem, in particular on a larger map like Arnhem checkpoint. Light vehicles like these are very powerful, very good. Even the small map they're reasonably good, but like on a large map like this they really sort of show their power. You can see now Fortune going for the T7 light tank, but Dezman and his Lux Aufklärungspanzer strikes like Blitzkrieg in a bottle. In this case he decides not to push any further. His western flank in fact is looking, and his cut-off point is looking extremely vulnerable there, so he's rushing in the Lux to deal with that. T-70 almost arriving there for Fortune, and the 10th Tank Corps. MG-34 wiped out. Another stinging blow there to Dezman. He fights onwards for the fatherland, and he satchel charges it. Fortune refused to have anything to do with fascist inventions. My men shall be protected from the seeds of fascism. It's a machine gun, Fortune. Yet it's a tool, an entity of National Socialism. Can't we just use it? Yet. Bliat. There you go, looks like the T-70 autocannon versus 45mm gun. Blasting away at the Fulton is there's holding up behind cover, at least what little cover there is in such a perilous position. Well, I think Dezman is planning a Puma, and what is this? We got the M5 half-track out here. Fortune is bringing out more mechanized infantry to assault the fascists, to rout them and drive them away from this area. So Fortune is certainly aiming for an aggressive strategy again that emphasizes mobile play. Very nice to see there, and we can see Dezman is going to counter it with mobile aggressive play of his own, though of course without any mechanized infantry, because surely that was not what the German army was known for. Puma though on the way there for Dezman, the 234-2. In the East Gasping with a half to them pushing back the Sturmpioneer. They're not upgrading or keeping it, unupgraded so he can transport him fast though. He's got the SU M17. Got going for it. He's going to lose the scout kid, didn't quite pay attention, and Dezman was able to strike a blow for Germany and get another replacement machine gun out there. But there you go, got the Puma out here for Dezman. There you go, catching that half track. Maybe we'll be able to Panzer fast it. There we go. Fortune in this case, perhaps underestimating Dezman's responses, finds his half track quickly lit on fire and forced to run away. And in fact, he's now without any anti-tank support. We can actually deal with the Puma. So that actually means Stevenson is a bit of trouble. We can see mines being laid down here. They're also quickly spotted here by Dezman's brave reconnaissance crews. The looks is awaiting a bit of repairs there. And that leaves the Puma unable to fight. Oh yeah. Looks like there's some pathing issues there for Dezman, who was able to salvage the Puma before it became a problem. And we got Jaegers there chosen over the scam instruction for Dezman. And you've heard 4 prime coming fire there for the Puma as it falls back. Looks almost good to go again here to counterattack the Bolsheviks. And they're going to tank robs on the way for them as well. For some reason, the tree... Oh, he's ordered not to fight infantry. I don't think Dezman's realised it yet. I don't think Dezman's realised he's ordered to only prioritise vehicles. Or perhaps he doesn't care. I mean, that's a possibility as well. We do have to keep in mind. There you go, though. Must be he just realised it there. Damaging the T-70, allowing the Puma to hunt it down with its 50mm gun. Same as on the Panzer III's later models. Well, it's same effectiveness. Almost got the T-70 there though. One more hit. Well, 2 more hits. No, one more hit. Getting an assault gun there for Fortune. And there you go, the T-70 is lit on fire.
We have lost one of our armored vehicles.
Giving Dezman now the light vehicle advantage. And, barely avoids getting settle charged there. Up here, gasping a bit of trouble with the Fulton. This looks like they're caught in a protracted engagement that was not in their favour. And another wipe there for Fortune as Dezman turned to deliver the severe slaps of bitter defeat to the enemy. And fuel drop here for Fortune. He's certainly been close to calling in the M4C Shermans. This get caught off guard here with Jaegers and denied access. So he needs to fix up that Puma reasonably fast. And another disc out there for Fortune. She advances rapidly and aggressively up the western roads, striking at Dezman's heartlands of resources. Assault gun there revealed. Looks took a nasty hit. And we can see that Dezman is trying to stall the man of victory point lead that Fortune's got going against him. He's already down to 240, whereas Fortune's at 486. So Dezman there certainly, I think, making some right choices and prioritising the victory points for a bit here to ensure he doesn't fall too far behind. He could also consider some booby traps on some of the points. Puma good to go. Looks like I need some repairs for the reinforcing. What will Dezman aim for next year against Fortune? Will he try to take up? Will he go for Austin flak panzers? What will he aim for? That is the big question here. Just moving up the centre here on Volkswagen, opening up on it with their Car 98Ks. Puma pursuing here the H-6M. Shoots, misses with the 50mm gun. Assault gun though misses in return. The Puma they should be able to now to maneuver it. Gaining veterans 1, aim shot available, which can be further used to denied use of its gun if it comes that far. Ah! Shot vanished into thin air. Almost got it. Slap pathing area, there we go. Assault gun down, but he lost the full gun to Discord here to the Dishka. And that was a bit wasteful there, but still a decent trade-off, I suppose, in some ways. Need to retreat the full grenadiers. Very close to victory 2 there on the Puma. And we got the Pumas moving up into the broadside of the Jaegers. That's definitely a poor choice there. And Sergei pays the price with Pushkin quickly following into the next life here as the Jaegers take well-aimed shot at the Russians, who are making it very easy to hit them. But there you go, harassment on the western side there from Fortune, keeping up the pressure and his eyes on the prize, which is of course denying the fascists as much fuel as possible. So what will be next here for Dezman? Fortune soon able to call in the M4C Sherman, so if his plan is acting in Ostwind, Dezman's going to be in for a rude awakening, saying he's not going to have any immediate counter. He's in fact only going to have a Puma to counter the M4C. Oh, scheisse, he actually did it. I mean, either Dezman completely forgot, or he doesn't care, or he just made a miscalculation. Neither of them is particularly good. At least if he doesn't care, that means he's got a plan for dealing with it using only a Puma, which requires a lot of skill in terms of micromanagement and tactics. And so far it's Fortune is around, I think we're sort of pushing the edge there. We'll have to see how it works out there for Dezman, but it's not encouraging when he has to fight an M4C Sherman with a Puma. Still, looks like he's going to do it. Moving in, gaining entry, then the Puma Sherman shoots, misses, hits instead a lamppost. Do not worry, it was a lamppost of fascism. A beacon of the Germans. I'm pretty sure that was just a lamppost. First, let me push back with the penal troopers, Veteran T2. Control of the centre there with heavy machine guns, penal troopers, and of course the M4C Sherman. Hey Dimitri, this one says made in the USA. What is the USA? United Soviet Assemblies. Yes. Don't ask any more questions. Why? The commissars will get you and your family. Oh, okay. In fact, the Russians tried to hide over the origins of where they got some of the stuff, like some of the food they got from Americans was quickly repackaged to, look more like Soviets. That's a fun note there. Demo charts there, nasty trap from Fortune. What's coming down here? And the penals on the open got looks able to cover as well here. And the penal troopers find themselves a bit lacking there in anti-tank firepower with just a few anti-tank rifles in the south here. Sherman strikes and almost wipes. How will Dezman react to this? He's going to go for another Puma here, or what is his plan to deal with these Shermans? I'm guessing he's going to have to go for more Pumas because he's not going for a cannon efforts. He doesn't have the fuel to take up, so it certainly seems more and more likely he's going to aim for Pumas. House blown up and some poor bastard got wiped and spread all across, half the town square.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
More folks on the way there for Dezman. Sherman hanging back. Dezman here taking it very carefully. He's not rushing any attacks on Fortune here. He is not rushing in there, and he's, there we go, going for the second Puma. So he's basically going to rely on the Pumas to try and counter the M4C Shermans. Like, as long as you sort of keep a decent ratio between them, it can sort of work out. The problem is if Fortune gets up too many tanks here, Dezman's going to be in trouble. In this case, it's being helped though. The Fortune's filling manpower, but say not investing into fuel caches to speed up the acquisition of armor. That means that Dezman might just be able to bring up enough Pumas to quickly push back at least and deal with that one Sherman, meaning there's only going to be a ratio of 2 Pumas to 1 Sherman if possible, because once things get equal or more in favour of the tanks, it's going to look a lot more difficult here for Dezman's Pumas to have a real effect. Like say 2 Pumas versus, 1 Sherman, you got a decent shot if you can handle them correctly. Luke's moving in, that's going to be a problem there. Takes directly from the 76mm gun of the Sherman. There we go, Puma's moving in to pursue. I think he's waiting here. He was maybe trying to buy time before he could then panther fast, then assuring the Pumas would deal with it. But there you go. Puma shooting, 1 penetrates, other bounces. Pumas continue. There you go, we got Disco opening up with armor piercing around to make it harder for the Pumas to pursue. Can of course just lay down the smoke screen to cover up there for the other one. Not decides in this case to break off. In this game we go pop smoke. That seemed a little less efficiently done there by Dezman. Oh, the Sherman is now pursuing the Pumas. That could maybe work out in favour of him if Dezman knows how to exploit this. And there goes second Sherman out. Now the Pumas are going to be in a bit of trouble. Mine goes off though, killing several penal troopers there. Down south, infantry versus Diska. Repair pony is up here for Dezman. We got more fuel drops in here for Fortune and the 10th Tank Corps. Also, they're getting bombarded with anti-tank rifle and the Sherman. Filters moving in from one side here. Puma moving in. Shoots, shot, vanishes into thin air. Second shot, misses though. Eagles versus Disco machine gun there. But he's moving out the Puma then when it's not quite repaired yet. Very dangerous there for Dezman. Machine gun repositioning. Victory points looking pretty low here for Dezman. Looking pretty low. There you go, both Pumas got to go, but now the Sherman's working together, so the difficulty just increased here for Dezman and his Pumas. There you go, aim shot though should help. If you can just jam the turn on one of them, that should make it easier for the Pumas to at least deal with it reasonably well. Make it hard for them to be effective as it. Puma there almost 50. If you can get to 50, that's going to do a lot there for Dezman since it increases its damage. Really pushing in aggressively there. Almost got taking hits there from the Sherman. Victory 2 gained on the Sherman. Oh, gained Victory 3. He's really pushing it there. Got the Sherman abandoned. Oh dear. Can he do it? Main gun out. Main gun out. He gets both Shermans. That was crazy. And it's almost veteran fall already. Big loss there for Fortune. Lack of infantry support though I think also had an effect that's allowed the Pumas to operate a lot more aggressively versus the tanks. So that was pretty close that we actually managed to pull it off there. Going points in the east. Luke's driving around the Diska here. Fortune's just flooding a lot of manpower though. That definitely feels a bit wrong. And again, couldn't even allow him, if he used them a bit more smartly and to push out more tanks of supported than his M4C Sherman. So he definitely needs to get around to spending it and get some fuel caches up, but at least some more infantry. Luke's driving around corners here with a Diska. And the far east we got fortunately dealing with a large influx of penal troopers. Seems like Fortune is a bit of a sort of a blank space at the moment. He's just not spending any of his manpower, and he's flooding a lot there. It definitely does not feel frightfully efficient there. Another Sherman out there. I'd probably recommend beginning to change tactics here and strategy versus the Pumas. Now there's definitely two of them. One of them is actually 3 and he's only got 1 Sherman, and we already know here that Dezman had reasonably good luck in dealing with the Shermans when they're not properly supported using just his Pumas. So if you're sending the other Sherman there without any support versus the Pumas, that's really a problem for Fortune. But at least seems like he's been to spend resource. There we go, fuel caches finally going up. They really could have benefited from sooner. So charge off there. Grenades being launched there by the thrown by the Jaegers. Dezman also beginning to flood a bit here. And they're not, in fact, going for lightest infantry. It should be the light artillery to help deal with some other support weapons and provide some pressure there against Fortune's infantry. Got the Ostman patrolling. Lightest infantry shuts there. Okay, it looks like he counted and then went for it again. Seems like Dezman is perhaps a bit clear. Perhaps he realised he wanted the medics out first. Maybe that was the problem there. Hard to say there what exactly was going through Dezman's head. Fortunately, continued to float, even he's beginning to fall behind now in the population count there behind Dezman. So definitely feels increasingly less advised. In fact, now we can see those going for supporting company. I'll probably try to bring up field guns to counter all of this. There you go. Sherman versus the Ostman and the Pumas, including our Vet 74 Puma. Nasty range and of course nasty-ish damage. At least for an armoured car there with 120 damage per shot. Ostman up in the penalties out in the open there, cutting them down in cold blood. A machine gun fire there covering the town square. And we got another field gun out for Fortune. Just bringing up a lot of field guns because the Pumas do struggle quite a lot against the sort of proper anti-tank front, though Dezman's bringing out another light infantry gun. Perhaps in anticipation of such tactics, or perhaps some other reasoning there from Dezman. We shall see. 100 points left there for Dezman. So of course, if Fortune gets to stall for long enough, though, he'll be able to beat Dezman. They might want to make a bigger push for the Western victory point just to grab that fast. Then again, with all the Pumas about, he might be a bit reluctant to use his tank like that without some serious support from the anti-tank guns. Oh, bringing this shell for some reason on its own right into the Pumas. The results are rather to be anticipated. Attack on the western side, we've got the Luke supporting with the MG-34 Disco machine gun moving in. Eastern victory point being shot there by a few plucky Volksgrenadiers as Fortune seems to be putting more effort into the centre here. And there you go. Puma running into that field gun. Halfway to Vet 75 and the ace status. 96 points left here for Dezman. Could be Dezman is planning some tech up now, maybe a Sherman. Of course, Strike be setting up here for a King Tiger, which would be awfully ambitious, in particular considering his very low victory points. He's going for another track that's a Shroud Punched quarter, so at the very least he's planning something from there. He's planning for the King Tiger, though again, with only 96 points left and no sort of real control of the victory points, he definitely needs to be careful about that. Quick grenade there. To the fire there on the Strafniki. So Dezman's got a large vehicle pool just doing nothing, and there you go. Mine goes on the face of the penal troopers there, preventing them pushing for the cuff point. Overall, fortune has been pointed to the defensive simply due to the sheer number of light vehicles that Dezman has, and sort of quickly constrain fortune, make it hard for him to move about there. In particular, since the field guns do start in that way, deal with the Pumas unless the Pumas directly attack into them, as fortune somehow pulls off an amazing ambush. So that actually creates a bit of a tricky situation there for Fortune, because he wants to be aggressive, he wants to finish it off, but at the same time the light vehicles and how things are working out is making it difficult, because see, like, if you just send something infantry like that, it's going to get hit by the Austrian, who then moves into the tank, you know, that's like going to be Pumas waiting for it. Of course the field guns will have to come in, but even then, I mean, get quickly being decided for the anti-tank guns really arrive to do anything serious. So in that regard, there's a bit of a problem here for Fortune versus Dezman. In this case, Dezman makes a mistake, then one of the Puma gets completely obliterated. In fact, it was his less veteran one. So that ended up working out there for Fortune, though Sherman was still forced to fall back. Luke's taking the west there. Schwer punks the quarters up for Dezman. Now there's Sherman out there for Fortune. Sherman's in there aggressively, field guns following up, but not on a path that allows for immediately supporting case there is a Puma that somehow counterattacks. It's right here, Fortune might have no confidence versus Dezman, and Dezman should be able to punish him for it. Using aim shot, in fact. Got out of range there, but at the same time he's going to get Panzer fastest. Right here, I think Fortune basically overreaches very aggressively here versus Dezman in an attempt to get looks, and he more or less pays the price for it. Losing on his Shermans in a rather, I would say, pointless engagement, to be honest. Like, he didn't gain anything from it. Even if he got it, I mean, it wouldn't be a huge deal for him unless his Sherman survived, and the chance of the Sherman surviving that one was, to be fair, pretty low, so that did not feel particularly well executed there by Fortune. Got the Puma pushing it, field guns hanging a bit back. Very close to eventually firing this jumping by the Puma. Mine went off. Puma was attacking, got the Osprey upon encountering fire there. Vecchi too, by the way, that's pretty good there for the Flak Panzer. And pretty good for Dezman. Line in for guns there, Dezman to Puma with the Puma in, getting a quick shot there off on the Sherman. There you go, moves in, and there you go, ace, Puma, ace. Osprey, though, getting pummeled there by the field guns. A successful anti-tank front there, disrupting the Germans. As a fun fact, the Russians actually copied the German pack front tactic and used it against the Germans. So the Germans had to come up with a counter tactic for it, which they called the Panzerkeil, or armoured cone. Little fun fact there. Little fun fact there. I mean, both sides basically learned from each other on the Eastern Front. Copied designs, tactics, and the likes. So that's a little fun detail there. Dezman going for Jagdpanzer. Now we're getting very interesting. So he's not playing for King Tiger, he's acting for the Jagdpanzer here, perhaps realising that he risks getting swarmed by M4C Sherman. So rather than opening up for that and, you know, wait for something, just keep going for Puma, he's actually going for the Jagdpanzer here, which is actually reasonably good to counter for the medium tanks like that. So very interesting move there by Dezman. Very interesting. And certainly with the Puma is actually quite efficient, since the Puma then acts as an excellent spotter and flank guard for the Jagdpanzer. So that's a very strong combination there for Dezman if we can sort of work it together. You might want to consider some orbital data now. And Fortune might want to consider, you know, a more, I think, executed sort of bit better there, because right now he's sort of just playing a game of sort of reactions against Dezman, and that's giving Dezman much more freedom of movement. Also, another fuel cache might be ready. And even needs to speed up the income there in terms of fuel so he can get out some more armour. Because at this rate, though, he's going to be falling catastrophically behind Dezman, who's bringing up more and more stuff. So there you go. Panzer 4-70 or Panzer 4-70. This was actually its actual designation. The Germans did not call that a Panzer. I'm guessing though for propaganda purposes or deception purposes, basically to make the Allies believe they had a Panzer 4 that was upgunned the gun of the Panther. Oh, we got to the strike here on the Sherman from Dezman. Fortunately, needs to get his force out. They got a sprint. They got the field gun repositioning as the artillery rains down, breaking up his defense. Whatever he's trying to do here on the eastern side. Very good work there by Dezman, at least for now. Another fun fact about the Panzer is Guderian, who was the Panzer Inspector General at that point, did not actually want it at all. He wanted more Stugs. In fact, he wanted to have control of the Stugs and did not like this. I mean, he'd rather have them build just more Stugs for the same resources, since he thought that was a much better design and obviously a lot more efficient. And ironically, though, got called Guderian stuck despite of that. Which I think was likely due to the fact it was a bit of a clumsy machine that was a bit overloaded. In fact, it had issues with its main gun sticking into the dirt, which could then clog up the barrel, meaning they had to clean it out or they'd blow up the entire thing. No fun fact there. Puma going after the Sherman here, aim shot. Settle charge of the machine gun. There we go, jammed, turret ring on it. Panzer going in the field gun covering. Ah, almost got the Sherman there, almost. Need to fall back here though. Panzer already almost taken out here by the field guns. Pretty damn close here for Dezman. Puma though continues. He's actually willing to throw away his veteran 5 Puma for the Sherman. That definitely does not feel well advised there. And hits a mine. I don't think that was worth it there, to be honest, for Dezman. I mean, that was a veterancy 5 Puma. That was a veterancy at most 1 Sherman. So that definitely felt a bit like a tactical error there by Dezman. I mean, I can understand why he did it, but I'd still not recommend it. Got Luke's there plastering away at the Stravniki. Its autocannon threatening to end their lives at any time. Osman there could stand to get a bit back into the action. I mean, maybe get to veteran 3, even 4, maybe 5. Got a machine gun there, wipe, small victory. In fact, steals it here away from the Russians. Got the Looks moving in. They could perhaps provide some covering 5 there, but using its suppressing 5 ability there. It looks like in this case it was needed, but he could have done so. And there you go, another Sherman out for fortune. They're certainly beginning to struggle increasingly. Again, the big manpower float without really investing into a long-term advantage with fuel caches has rather allowed Dezman to swing the game around quite nicely. But again, without a lot of the light vehicles though, now Fortune does have more room to get back into the game because now there's less ways for Dezman to constrain Fortune. Told him back in, except for like the Looks really, maybe the Osman if you're generous. I wouldn't quite call that a light vehicle. I would not. Sherman going straight there for lightning guns, taking a few hits. Here we got the Osman eastwards. Going straight there for the Dishka. Panzer opening up in the Sherman, taking down to half health. Spotting a munitions cache in 14 McCoff one. I'm surprised I didn't go for fuel point cache, but I'm guessing he wants to use the munitions mines, but also just allied supply drops. Which point it just seems like building a fuel cache just for the extra steps. And there you go, fuel drop in there for Fortune. Going the western victory point. Dezman needs to quickly recapture them. Otherwise, Dezman's going to lose this. And he's going for a Panzer 4 now. So he's definitely not aiming at any point at least so far here for the Königstiger. Very interesting. But he needs to recapture the western victory point on the very. He also needs to get the other one at least to render some of them neutral. So fortunately we can see he's now on the offensive again, pushing back against the fascist invaders.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Panzer 4 halfway down there for Dezman. All of a sudden though, we're really doing so good. And maybe some boob chat from his Jaegers. Got the Panzer almost ready here. Light infantry guns providing artillery fire support there. Blasting Fortune's positions. 37 points left for Dezman. Getting really close there. Getting really close. Field gun setting up. He's anticipating a bigger push down the west side, it seems, leaving the eastern side completely open now for any Panzer maneuvers from Dezman. There you go. Panzer 4 out on the fields. Field guns creeping up there in the looks, though without any support that they could easily get rushed by infantry if they're not careful. And there you go, nice flank here through the eastern fields there by Dezman's Jägers. Very good work. 25 points left though, Dezman. Mach schnell. Osman looking towards the lookout, Sherman striking in there. Panzer 4 being diverted there. Jagdpanzer can also move in to deal with it. Machine gun getting blasted by the light infantry guns. Looks like this time the Fortune decided he did need the MD-34 after all. Looks also being taken out here by the Sherman. Need to fall back here. Panzer 4 Jagdpanzer moving in here. And he lost the looks. Quite a loss there. Quite a loss there for Dezman. Sherman with a damaged engine. Panzer 4 Jagdpanzer not pursuing very aggressively. Perhaps worried about the field guns until of course they took out his looks. I assume they took it out. Jaeger sitting here with some rather pesty Pumas. There you go, Panzer 4 right support. Don't worry, we'll help. Scheiße, we might have killed one of them. Don't worry, we'll help the rest of you. Just try to get a bit further away from the Russians before we shoot again. Oh, almost got a wipe there. But Petrov survived, for he was truly a survivor. Troops reinforcing FM 6 on the way there for Fortune. Perhaps realising he can't just rely on his Shermans. Also seems like Fortune to an extent has given up on the larger flanks plans. The Allies had exerted so nicely in the early game, making it much easier for Dezman to just sort of tie down Fortune beyond. Of course the Schwer punch to an extent makes it more difficult, but you know, I wouldn't say there's so much reason to just blindly charge your head on. Huh. In a surprise twist, Dezman here now goes for a second Austrian, guessing wanting for more pressure on the infantry and support weapons with a double flak Panzer move. Panzer 1 dealing with penal troops is attempting to, though the infantry support would be helpful. Could also go for some orbital dart still. I still think it would be a pretty decent choice here for Dezman. Sherman going for the Austrian there. Puma's getting blasted. Austrian moving in, closing on eventually feed the Sherman moving ahead. They're taking fire though. Oh, almost got one of the Austrian Jagdpanzer doing deal with it. You can see enough. Dezman taking a lot of damage on his armour. Vetches one gain on the Jagdpanzer. Panzer 4 was almost knocked out here. Getting pretty ugly here, getting pretty ugly. Certainly looks like that second Austrian was a bit of a mistake here by Dezman. There you go. Austrian number 2 down. He's down to just the Jagdpanzer and the Panzer 4. This is quickly turning ugly. Main gun out. Panzer 4 shoots. Gets the Sherman. But then to get the Jagdpanzer out there before the field guns. The FN6 shoots it. And there you go. Penetrating hit right through the 80mm of sloped armour. Knocking out the Jagdpanzer. Leaving now Dezman with only a Panzer 4. A crushing series of blows there to Dezman and the core sights and leaving them depleted. The Fortune has sustained heavy loss as well, so the question is, can he continue these assaults for much longer? Still is gaining the centre victory point. He just needs one of the others, or three, and at which point he can rapidly lead out Dezman. Dezman's not giving up, but he attacks. He moves forward for the fatherland. Damage engine in the FN6M. Field guns sent scouting away. Demo charging the centre victory point there. Fixing up that Panzer 4. Mine goes off. But white one of the field guns. Another mine goes off. Fortune's been doing some aggressive mining there. We got a artillery strike called in. Around here, the support weapons. Oh dear. Disrupting Fortune's defences once more. It looks like it's going to salvage the field gun while the artillery's raining down, basically keeping Fortune's forces away. Then nice use of the artillery barrage. Dispersing this defense and basically acting like, you know, a screen so you can just get some other stuff done. Machine gun there in the west needs to retreat though. Before it's lost the fastest. But in this case, the turn's lucky as it pins down both of them. Oh, he doesn't have the minesweepers out. He doesn't have the minesweepers out. Always remember, minesweepers out for demos. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You know, I surely can't imagine the Russians putting down a demo charge around a victory point. I mean, now you're just being silly, Jürgen. Or was it Otto? I can't quite remember. Oh dear. Oh! Straight into, almost got both units wiped there with a single demo charge. I'm guessing Destin felt a bit silly about that. Almost wiped the Puma squad there, but did manage to get away from it. Osman down to half health. Grabbing the point there in the east. Sturmpuni on the way there for Dezman. Fortune down to 201 victory points. But that's still considerably more than what Dezman has. Now the Satrachati is trying to prevent him from grabbing the centre victory point. Dezman though doesn't care. He wants that centre victory point for the fatherland. He's getting a lot more fuel now than Fortune, and Fortune's just trying to keep up the armoured pressure versus Dezman. Of course, he still's got a fat victory point, though it is getting increasingly slimmer. Puma machine guns are moving ahead. Left, right flanks quite open. Might want to consider just again not charging straight on into the centre of the map there, but actually trying to outmaneuver Dezman here. But Fortune seems to be intent on it. Panzer almost getting knocked out here by the field gun and the assault gun, primarily the assault gun it seems. Oh, there's a field gun there. And there you go. Dezman loses his one Panzer IV. He's leaving with only the Ostwind. That's going to be quite a struggle there. Pushing for the eastern point now. There's a disc in the way. Ostwind can move support as well. Oh, machine gun falling back just towards the fuel pump. We can still cover the victory point. Successfully defended the centre of the light infantry guns and the Jaegers. And now moving towards the east there. Down the point. There you go. Ostwind engaging the machine gun. We got the assault gun moving up there. Close to virtually free. Oh. Nice hits down the heavy machine gun crew. Almost got it wiped there. Jaeger should be able to finish it off there. And oh, there we go. Wipes the machine gun, barraging it though. Oh, they were still in panic sector, not Jaegers, never mind. They almost lost it. Poor Dietrich there, crushed by the S-26. Still, Fortune is also now getting worn out. Dezman just has slightly more forces, so he might be able to push through if he just keeps up the pressure there. Still lingering though. Oh, he's got a Raketen there for after over half an hour. He considers going for a Raketen there for now. Almost swapped the unit there. Another Sherman out for Fortune and the 10th Tank Corps. Severely depleted after all this reckless and ruthless fighting. Another Ostwind for Dezman. He's just getting desperate. He's just getting absolutely desperate. He's just waiting to just toss it all in there. He's getting extremely bold and aggressive, and it could prove to be advantageous there for Fortune as he's making then some short-term decisions, which of course leaves him quite vulnerable here to the Sherman. So that means he's got no other ways of dealing with the Sherman besides a single Kednefer. And there you go, lost an Ostwind pretty quickly. That Kednefer has to get wiped out here. Definitely a rather poor series of choice here made by Dezman. A rather poor. We might be able to go for some purpose to try and slightly turn this around, but overall that did not do Dezman a lot of favours. $176 left for Fortune at 25 still for Dezman. Unit wipe on a retreat there. Leaving Fortune a bit further deprived of troops versus Dezman, who's going for an early counter, trying to that way counter the armour. Salvaging the Panzer IV wreckage there. Finally finding the time for it. He could also wreck the Yak Panzer wreckage. Or salvage it, I mean. A bit extra fuel and munitions. Sneaking up the eastern victory point. We've still got the Diska depleted, but still holding on. Pulling up behind the wreckage of the Osprey there for cover. Still getting suppressed though, since some of them are sticking out their heads. And sending grenade off. Osprey's opening up there. Devastating hit on the penal troops there. Almost wiping them out there in Fortune immediately retreats. No, he can't afford to waste them there. Another disc out there for Fortune. And he actually managed to gain the eastern victory point as well there. Now really putting the screws on Fortune again. $150 versus 25. Jaegers with Veteran 4 almost wiping out the Years to repairing the Sherman. Looks like he's not planning another Osprey, that's good. But what is he planning then? What is Dezman's big plan here? And there's been absolutely nothing going on the west side though. Fortune has completely forgotten about on the west side. He's not tried to harass, manoeuvre, anything there at all. Which overall, of course, Dezman just focusing on the centre and the east as well. Of course, they're being suppressed by the Diska. There the cannon appears from the ruins of the church, opens up the Sherman. Though he's quickly getting pelted with heavy machine gun fire from inside the cafe. Puma was scanning away. He can go for a Panzer IV now, he wants to. But he's planning a Panzer. There you go, Panzer IV on the way there for Dezman. And the Großdeutschland. Interesting to note, he's actually not upgraded any of his folks going to do this for the assault rifles. Fortune's option increasingly looking limited, in part because his forces are so depleted. I do think you should basically try and launch a small assault here, basically force Dezman perhaps into a slightly more position now, and then sort of swing in from another side to them there as well. Meanwhile, the artillery called in here as Dezman pushes back the front even further over that way, defending his victory point. There goes calling in artillery here though on the machine gun in the east. Ooh. Close one, but not quite. 100 points left there for Fortune, 100 points. Fortune there wiped out, bit of a loss there for Dezman. Flak Panzer there, Panzer IV aiming for the fatherland. Jaeger's pinned down. Diska trying to grab, but there you go, got the Osprey to the rescue. But there's the field guns supporting it. It's ace field gun, we got the assault gun wing, but there you go. He gets the machine gun, successfully defending the eastern fuel point. Keeping the bleed up there on Fortune, but he's about to lose the flag punch. In the centre there we got Kednev as Fortune steel pilots there with counter support against the penal troopers. Could wipe one of his few remaining infantry squads there, leaving Fortune with less options, though he does have the infantry to grab territory. More fuel troops there for Fortune. Troops are healing, forcing in. There you go. Aircraft shot down, destroying a few sandbags in the process. 58 versus 25.
Victory is slipping from our grasp. We have only 50 points remaining.
50 points left. Dezman has managed quite a comeback here versus Fortune. Quite a comeback. So far, anyways. Assault gun there opening up. Artillery raining down. Need to get the infantry back as quickly as possible. And there you go. Sherman going straight for the Panzer 4. Assault gun joining in the front. Forces moving up to try and Panzer to delay the Sherman from pursuing. Damaging the engine successfully. 25 versus 27. 25 versus 25. 25 versus 23. Oh dear. Forces moving in. They're going to try and wipe out the field gun. 25 versus 19. Victory points. 17. Jaegers appearing to infiltrate and in this case defend the eastern victory point. Being attacked there by penal troopers. 13 points left. Troops being rushed towards the eastern victory point. And then another Sherman out for Fortune. 11 points left. Has to charge off in the Jaegers. Yeah, he didn't even flinch there. He just kept them there because he didn't want them to have a chance of getting the point back. Rendered neutral. He's moving everything in there. And again, Fortune's just forgetting all about the western victory points, allowing Dezman to focus everything on the eastern victory point. Just stall, buy time. Penals was there, wiped out. 5 points left. He needs to get the Sherman in and use his ability to secure 4 points. Even then, the Steel Punch will take him to contest it. 2 points. Assault gun down. 1 point. And Dezman, sure as hell, pulls it off. A close victory here for the fatherland. A brutal spectacle war right here in Arnhem checkpoint between Dezman and Fortune. It was really close to Fortune with good early maneuvers. Really gave him an edge. But he just continued to put resource rather than pushing the advantage he could have with more capture or something else. Rather than allowing Dezman to get back, they used some good Puma handling there, turning into later good armor handling. Fortune there struggled with his attacks, but kept the man supported, making it very easy there for Dezman's Pumas to counter them. And then just sort of slowly but surely turned in Dezman's favour. So that was a really brutal fight right here on Arnhem checkpoint. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed today's match. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. If you like what I do, consider donating or pledging on Patreon. And to all those who already pledged, of course, big thanks to you. You are what allows me to keep doing this day after day. So thank you all and see you all tomorrow for another signing episode. Bye.